I would love to say once again, thank you for showing up to Align Living Circle, where we come together every week to align our mind, body, and spirit with seasonal energies and natural allies. I'm really excited for you to be here. I just love holding this space. So let's jump in with those energy check ins. Okay, so let's do our intention setting. As we always do, breathe for a second, get really still, tune into your body, and take some breaths. Start to feel into your body, really bringing awareness to the physical sensations. And take another breath and ask yourself where you're feeling energy in your body, whether it's an upset stomach or some tingliness, maybe some unsettled, whatever it is. Feel into it. Find that in yourself. Don't judge it. And with the breath, really breathe love into this space. Just inhaling so much compassion. And one more deep breath. Fill all of everything within yourself with peace. And breathe out anything that's not serving you. And we will begin. So, I don't have a lot on the seasonal energies right now, but I will say that we are very, very close to winter being over. We have just a couple more weeks of this event before we are officially in spring, which is so exciting for me. I love springtime, and I'm ready for it in my personal life and in this group because we got some good things coming. Um, yeah, I think yes, next week is the last week of winter. Very fun. So, with that said, we have some really interesting allies coming up for us this week. Let me get settled in here. So, our first ally of the week is long-tailed weasel. And excuse me, I'm going to say long-tailed weasel a lot of times, and I might get tongue-tied, but bear with me, you get it. So, long-tailed weasels are they're, you know what? Hold on, guys. I'm going to go the extra mile. All right, hold on. I'm going to share my screen for a second. There we go. Boop. There. Okay. So, as you can see, we have a long-tailed weasel. So, long-tailed weasels, they are these really small but super agile, funny guys. They're really cute looking. They have a really long, thin body, this really angular head. And as you can see, their coats are brown on top with this like tan belly. Their tails are tipped in black, right? During winter, I'm gonna figure this out. Okay. During winter, we have a completely different color here. They are pure white. They turn all white, helps them blend in, it helps them survive, but their tail still keeps that black tip there. And currently, we're in the season where this ally begins to shed their white winter coat and return to that brown summer coat. And we can learn a lot about our animal allies and our animal messengers by their colors alone. For long-tailed weasels, their white coat represents a period of cleansing and clearing out and preparing for a new beginning. Transitioning from the white to the brown symbolizes shedding the phase of preparation and of realignment and stepping into the phase of new growth and groundedness. So they're moving from this cold to warm, from barren to fertile, or from that ethereal, that spiritual energy to the physical energy. All of this encapsulated in just a couple colors. It's worth noting that no matter what phase Weasel is in, their tail is tipped in this black color. And the color black has many, many meanings, but for our messages today, it symbolizes protection and a secretive nature. And these are both really big themes of this ally. So let's first explore protection here. Long-tailed weasel is a fearless hunter. They use their shape, their speed, and their sense of smell to track down their prey. And when they find a scent, they follow it very quickly with incredible precision. And their slim bodies allow them to dive straight into burrows after their prey, even as small as a mouse hole. And it's when they've found their prey that long-tailed weasel's fierce side comes out. They feed by, I'm trying not to get gruesome here. They will bite their prey at the base of the neck and they will hang on very tightly and they do not let go. And so this is one of our messages today. We are in a season where our words may be more harmful than normal. It is currently Mercury retrograde, which I didn't realize until I was like finalizing this event. I was like, oh, nature got us. So Mercury retrograde is a season that affects our communication and our thoughts. And so as we move through the week, be really mindful of your words and how you use them. Be sure to not go for the throat when you're speaking out of anger. Slow down when you're communicating, pause before you speak, and choose your words with care. Really intentionally choose your words. The weasel family in general is one of the most ferocious of the mammals, right? They are pretty feisty. They really have no fear, no hesitation. Mother long-tail weasels will even attack people if they get too close to their young. They are incredibly protective, not just of their family, but also of themselves. And in us, this symbolizes saying hurtful things in an attempt to protect ourselves. So again, before you speak, ask yourself what emotion you're speaking from. Just pause. This is my advice. Just pause for a moment, feel it in your body, just like we did with intention setting. And if you're feeling maybe a heat in your chest or a tenseness in your stomach or a heaviness, think about your words before you say them. This will save you a lot of complicated communication things. So now let's talk about long-tailed weasels' secretiveness. These animals can make many, many different sounds. They have a lot of vocalizations, but they rarely do make sound. And this ally is here to teach us the value of keeping things to ourselves. While communication is a really powerful way to connect with others, sometimes what we're creating is best built in silence. And I will be the first person to tell you that a simple conversation is so healing. Connection can change your future, but we don't have to share everything. There is a special kind of magic when we create new projects or new ventures with no input from the outside, completely of our true vision, our true energy, our essence. It's very much in alignment. And especially in this season, this Mercury retrograde season, when we are slowing down and reflecting in the areas of our thoughts and our words, long-tailed weasel is teaching us the power of silent creation. Another benefit to silence is it allows us to observe. When we are quiet, our energy stays within us. Our words are energy. And if we keep it in here, it makes the external world louder. And there really is so much to learn if we simply sit back and watch, just observe. Let's talk about our second ally. This week's second ally is Mourning Cloak Butterfly. Again, we got long names today, but I'm here for it. Mourning Cloak Butterfly. And let's get her up on the screen. Bam, here we go. So I'm sure You can tell by the name that this is not your average everyday butterfly. The outside, as you can see, of Mourning Cloak's wings is this gray brown color, and it allows it to very easily blend in with tree bark, almost invisible. And inside of the wings is this really beautiful dark maroon or purple color that is really quite striking. And the wings are lined with a yellow stripe and these iridescent blue spots. Let's see. Yes, so these butterflies got their name from the medieval tradition of wearing dark clothing when a family member has passed away. They would have those veils, those cloaks. Um, and so this means that mourning cloak is often a symbol of grief and of death, or more precisely, an ending of a cycle, really things coming to a close. And it's not just their colors that connects them to endings. This ally came to us this week because they become active. Like they first begin becoming active in early March. Mourning cloak is actually one of the earliest springtime butterflies. Sometimes they're flying around where there's still snow on the ground. And this is because of how their life cycle is set up. The caterpillars of mourning cloak mature, like they're becoming butterflies in early summer. The butterfly then goes dormant in the hottest part of the year. How unusual. And then they return in the fall to feed before settling down to overwinter. Incredibly, fascinatingly enough, magically enough, mourning cloak is able to survive as low as negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures, and their body temperature will lower to match the environment around them, allowing them to safely wait out the winter. And so one of Mourning Cloak's messages for us is to not be afraid of waiting. They take an entire season to be passive, to rest, to be still. And even though they're so small and fragile, they survive, coming back in the spring where they can live an abundant, thriving life. Sometimes we aren't in the right seasons for what we're trying to accomplish. And this ally survives the winter by gracefully synchronizing with the environment around them. If we also align and flow with the seasons and our natural rhythms, we're able to grow when the energy around us is supporting that growth. It's like flowing with a river rather than swimming upstream. And since mourning cloak is the first butterfly of spring, this means that they are also a symbol of death becoming life. They signal this shift in the seasons and bring with them the energy of celebration, of joy, of abundant, thriving life. And knowing their associations with both life and death, grief and joy, their colors make a lot more sense. It's easy for us to see the striking color and think about death or loss and stop there. But when we're working with natural allies, when we're looking intentionally at the natural world, we have to look at the whole picture. If we quietly observe, like long-tailed weasel, we open our eyes to the messages and the lessons that are surrounding us. If we're in a hurry, we may only see the sadness in this butterfly, and that's missing out on so much joy and hope. And as people, as humans on this planet, we don't have an innate understanding of our connection to the natural world and all of its allies. That understanding, that awareness is not there. The connection is there, but the awareness is not. What we do have working in our favor is free choice, because we get to choose, right? We get to choose what we observe and what we make of it and how we make meaning of it. And part of this journey on Earth is to overcome this illusion of separation, to make the choice to see how nature reflects parts of ourselves back to us. So as we move into spring, this is a really great time to ground into the natural world and recenter our energies because it is a shifting, liminal time. It can feel chaotic, it can feel weird. This is a really good way to ground, is intentionally observing the world around you. So this week I have a challenge for you. And I love challenges. That challenge is to intentionally reconnect with nature and see what messages are waiting for you. So you would do this by setting your intention and welcoming in a message. Then you wait and observe. So let's talk about setting intention. This might sound complicated, right? Setting intention, but truly it's as simple as stating it, either within yourself in a calm and centered, intentional way, maybe meditation, maybe like a moment of silence, all of those, or just saying it out loud, just claiming it confidently with certainty. And an approach I would use often is universe, guides, whoever you're speaking to, nature. I ask that you send me an animal message with guidance for me at this time. Basically, you're asking, insert being energy here. I ask you send me an animal messenger with guidance for me at this time. Because we get plenty of messages that aren't necessarily guidance and things. You want to set your intention just enough. And so once you've set your intention, just keep your eyes open. Just start to really be aware. And while this is also, a spiritual, energetic thing, psychologically, just being aware helps us be more mindful. Like it's grounding us into what's outside of us rather than getting all caught up in our thoughts, which this season it seems like a theme. So once you've set your intention, keep your eyes open. And this message may come through outside. You might be walking around, you might be driving. You may also see photos. You may also see videos. You may be scrolling social media and a random animal pops up. You may hear it mentioned in conversation. That is your messenger. That's your guy. So when you find them, when they've come to you, here are a few things to consider, to think about, to ask yourself. First, what is the animal's most notable feature? Like, what is the first thing you notice? Personally, I think this is the best way to start. I think it's one of the most powerful ways, especially when we're getting the message for ourselves. If it's for you as a person, the first thing you notice is probably going to be important. Your second consideration here is, what do you know about this animal already? Whether it's, this is a mammal or if it's, a whole long thing. Whatever you already know, consider that. And then ask yourself what thoughts, what words, what themes come to mind. Like what comes to mind when you think about this animal, look at this animal, especially if you're looking at it. And once you ask those questions, we'll get into some more direct questions. Sure. So you'll look at its colors, right? I think that's one I usually go to. We looked at that today with both of our allies. Look at the colors, look at the patterns where it is on the body, and ask yourself what those colors mean to you. What does that mean to you? And if you want to go further, what does that mean in other cultures? I think that's less important, but if you're really stumped, you can look at that too. Something else to consider is, how does the animal move? What does it look like when it's moving? How does it behave? Behaviors are big. So once you've looked at the movement, how it's moving, and its behaviors, then you can look at things like when, how, where does it eat? What does it eat? Their eating habits, their mating habits, their nesting or den habits, all of these little natural behaviors, they seem so average, they seem so normal, just like part of the world, but there are messages in all of this. Every piece of it can be really moving and really important depending on who's looking at them. And so as you're going, think about these features, these facets, very symbolically. Try not to get too stuck up in the literal interpretation. Really just flow with it. And keep in mind that the message is yours, which means it will be given to you in your language. You will receive this message in the way that you will understand best. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. Spirits like girls say it. So when we work with guides, with the universe, with the divine, or nature, with lots and lots of magic, all of these energies do speak our language, or either that or we interpret it in our own way. Oh, there we go. And so keep in mind that the messages are coming to you in your language. You might say, you know, you might ask somebody else, what does this dream mean? What does this animal mean? What does this color mean? And while people can help you, people can give you their thoughts, remember that it is your message. And if someone says, oh, to me, this animal means this, and that doesn't resonate with you, it's not your message. That's not the meaning for you. So it's all about trusting your own sense. And if you're really stuck, then lean on the people around you, but go with your gut because you know. What else did I want to say here? Yeah. So you've done your intentional observation. You've reflected, you've really silently taken it all in. Then ask yourself these two really important questions. How are these themes reflected in my life currently? Where's this showing up? And beside that, what does this animal reflect about you? What in this animal is something within yourself? Let me see. I'm trying to think of an example. I'm an example girl. Hmm. Hmm. Foxes. That's one of my main animals. Foxes, to me, are very playful, but they're also very protective, very loving, very serious. And I think I very much relate to that. I can be many of those things, all of those things at the same time. So for me, that's the message, is to embrace all facets of myself. You see that? It's just about kind of relating it all back. And of course, when you're doing this process, if you're a researcher, if you want to dive deeper, I would recommend, rather than searching like spiritual meaning of animal, go and give yourself a little challenge and search up fun facts about animal. You're going to get the craziest facts, the really cool things, and that's going to start you on your path. I think it's also a really fun idea to ask for dreams if you're a dreamer, if you like dreaming. Ask for a dream where your messenger shows up for you. Maybe you'll get more than just seeing it. Maybe they'll hand you a message literally in this dream. I also think it's a really magical way to work with allies. And remember that this is a very personal practice. Everyone will do this in their own way. So don't worry about getting it wrong. Don't second guess yourself. That magic of nature, that true like essence of nature understands where we are, and you will be guided through the process. That is it, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up, for joining our space, for adding your collective magic to the group. I really do love hosting these events, and it wouldn't be the same without you. So I hope to see you all next time. Go on with your day, feeling aligned, looking for your messengers, opening up to the possibilities, and being intentionally observing.